Dear friends, I hope you've had a wonderful week, that you're all staying healthy and you're feeling good, and that JBS has been keeping you good company. I'm Mark Golub, and if you can set aside the chaos that is suddenly dominating the streets of many of our cities, there's increasing reason to be optimistic as we celebrate this Shabbat. The rate of those contracting the coronavirus continues to drop, as do the number of deaths in the United States. The coronavirus is not over, but we're on the downside of the curve. And something has obviously changed in the potency of the virus, as we've seen thousands of people gather together with no social distancing, and up to this point there's been no serious spike in infections. So no one's quite sure why and what it means. Is it the warmer weather? Is the virus simply burning out? But whatever the cause, cities and towns across America are entering various phases now of ending the lockdown. And slowly but surely, the economic engine that sustains our country is beginning to move forward again. And I keep saying that for those of us in the older demographic, we still must be vigilant in following the rules, which now center on wearing masks and staying 6 feet or more away from anyone we don't know. And of course, we still let to wash our hands anytime we return home from somewhere, or after we open any package or delivery that comes to our home. But more and more people, even in the older demographic, are meeting with other people again. Wearing masks, sitting far apart from each other. But it's all especially nice as this weather gets warmer and warmer and it's more pleasant to be outside. So stay vigilant, but be less anxious. And consider actually being with people you love as long as you follow the rules. Another piece of good news is that many nursing homes and senior residences are working out ways where we can visit our loved ones. So there is light at the end of this tunnel. Here, by the way, are the rough coronavirus numbers as we end this week. In the United States, there are now more than 2.6 million people who've been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Many of them have not needed hospitalization. Many have not even had serious symptoms or any symptoms at all. Of those who have been hospitalized, 35% have recovered. Only 6% have died. Meanwhile, in Israel, they have only had 300 fatalities from COVID-19. And to put that in some perspective, 300 deaths in Israel is the equivalent of 12,000 deaths in a country with a population size of the United States. Only 12,000. It's really amazing how Israel has been able to help people with the virus recover. And you can see that the recovery rate of those hospitalized in Israel is 98%. And I hope many of you saw my conversation this week with Dr. Sigal Sviri of Hadassah Hospital in Israel. If you missed it, you can see it again Saturday night at 11:30 p.m. New York time. And this coming Tuesday night at 9 p.m., I'll be speaking with the president of Shaarei Tzedek Hospital in Jerusalem, Dr. Jonathan Halevi. And both Dr. Sviri and Dr. Halevi discuss the protocols of care used in Israeli hospitals. And those protocols clearly have made a difference in the success Israel has had saving COVID-19 patients. So make a note, Tuesday, 9 p.m. New York time, Dr. Jonathan Halevi. Okay, I want to look at some of the mail that you've been writing. Lovely mail. Emails as well as mail that you've written to me at our new Stamford P.O. Box. I want to read just a few of them. First, a lovely mail from Beverly. Rabbi Golub, I hope you and your family are well. I'm writing to thank you for the In the News programs that you aired both last night and tonight. I'm so glad that you thought these were newsworthy topics. I really respect both Alan Dershowitz and Jonathan Tobin. Thanks for sharing their perspective at this most toxic time. Be safe and stay healthy. Beverly. By the way, Beverly's talking about the program we did with Jonathan Tobin on the problems the President's Conference is facing over the election of Diane Loeb. She's the former president of HIAS. HIAS is no longer involved in Israel advocacy or in Jewish activity. And Diane does not have much experience when it comes to the Israeli scene. And so many people are upset that the President's Conference is now choosing someone from HIAS with so little Israeli experience and knowledge. And we're going to be having Mort Klein on this week. Mort is involved in protesting Diane Loeb's selection and election, and he's being criticized by the Reform movement, by Rabbi Rick Jacobs, and everybody wants everybody else thrown out of the conference. It's a balagan, and we're going to cover that for you as well. And then people write me about Dershowitz all the time. Beverly's happy that I had Dershowitz on. Here's an email from Herman, who represents those who are very upset with me. Herman writes, Rabbi Golub, new Trump stooge. As far as Dershowitz is concerned, when he smells the money, he goes. O.J. Simpson and now Trump. Rabbi Golub has let the embassy move cloud his judgment. The so-called peace plan concocted by Trump's airhead son-in-law has already been rejected by the Palestinians. From their perspective, a disaster. Herman. And that's the kind of email I get from people who just hate Trump. They hate Dershowitz. And they're so upset I have Dershowitz on. And my perspective has been, it will continue to be. Alan Dershowitz gives his perspective. It is always reasoned. He is not a supporter of Trump. He didn't vote for Trump. And in my mind, it is hideous the way some of the Jewish community would now censor. And Alan Dershowitz, well, we shouldn't be censoring anybody in the Jewish community. There was once a time the Jewish community fought for the freedom of speech that's at the heart of all the freedoms of America. It is so disappointing to me that people say to me, no, you should shut him up. Why? Because he defended for reasons of principle Donald Trump, and because just some people think he is the worst in the world now. And Herman's not the other one. Here's another email from someone who doesn't even give me his name. And it always seems odd to me. I always assume that if someone takes the time to write me, whether with criticism or with nice things to say, they'd want me to know their name. Anyway, I only have an email handle from this individual, Duckworth. Here's what Duckworth writes. Free speech is inviolate in my opinion, but so is the need for indignation over society's need to recognize our ingrained racist tendencies. I have been shattered by Dershowitz's move to the Fox point of view. As a lifelong supporter of Jewish rights, Israel, and shows like yours, please make sure condemnations of movements like Black Lives Matter are heard but balanced with responsible thoughts of people with opposing facts. I am white, old, Jewish, and a free thinker. By the way, the end is marvelous. I'm white, old, Jewish, and a free thinker. Anyway, I agree with everything the writer with Duckworth writes me, except the fact that Fox is the only channel now that will have Dershowitz on in addition to JBS doesn't mean that Dershowitz has moved over to a Fox way of thinking. Dershowitz thinks for himself. Here's part of a lovely letter from Len. Your program brought me to tears, and I know why. I felt like I was part of something. I don't have any close friends, not since my wife died in 2015. You made me feel like I was part of the Jewish people, that I actually have someone. I really like the statement you made, encouraging people to send you an email. Most people would rather not be bothered. Best wishes, Len. It's a very sweet email. Another beautiful email I received after Shavuot. How can I ever express how JBS has saved my soul these days, especially during my total isolation from my family? And then she writes, half my family live in Israel. Being at home alone for Pesach and now for Shavuot is heartbreaking for me, especially after my husband Paul died. However, JBS has become my companion in connecting me to my roots and my people, even celebrating in a new way. As a person coming from a family of generations of Zionists with deep attachments to the love of Israel and the Jewish people, with Jewish education from day schools and spending years in studying in Israel, your program speaks to me daily. The diversity you provide on JBS is incomparable. So wishing you Chag Shavuot Sameach, and thank you with much gratefulness for having your programming in my life. Warmly, Edith. And it's that kind of email that strengthens all of us here who work on JBS. One more. I love your programming that is getting us through this difficult time in our lives. Yasher Koach, keep up the great work. Blessings, Rabbi Ken Alter, Congregation Ahavat Achim in Colchester, Connecticut. By the way, part of my family comes from Colchester, and my brother and I spent many wonderful afternoons on the farm in my grandmother's brother's home. My grandmother's was a Scot, and Eddie and Philip Scott had farms in Colchester. We were there all the time. Anyway, it's always very special when I receive kind words from a colleague, from a rabbi. So thank you very much, Ken. And again, those are some of the emails you've sent me. I cannot thank you enough. So now, for Shabbat, we have a Misha Berach for a loved one, a Yortzeit, and a Simcha. For a Misha Berach, Leah Rocklin wishes a Refuah Shlema for Moshe Yitzchak ben Yuta Leah. And Naomi Vilko remembers her brother, Alfred Vilkovics, Avraham ben Shmuel ben Yamin HaKohen, who was tragically murdered with his mother at the entrance to Auschwitz on the 13th of Sivan in 1944. And Naomi, may Abraham's memory forever be a blessing. And Nina Yoshbi Magano sends a Mazal Tov to Shana Magano, who today was awarded her master's degree in International Disaster Psychology from the University of Denver. Congratulations, Shana. And remember, if you have a simcha or someone you'd like to include in a Misha Berach list to express your care and concern for their illness, or if there's a yortzeit and you have no synagogue setting in which the name will be read, please send me the information and I'll be honored to read it on JBS. Just email me at jbscommunity@jbstv.org. And to be in touch with me directly, email me at rabbigalub@jbstv.org. So until the next time, I'm Mark Golub. Shabbat Shalom. Stay safe and be well, my friends.